So the first thing I'm going to do is open Publisher. To get there, I'm going to click down here in the search bar, and I'm going to type in PUB for Pub. There's the app, and I would choose Open, and then that would open up Publisher. The next thing I want to do once I have Publisher open is I want to create a new document. So I'm going to come up here to File, and I'm going to choose a blank 8.5 by 11 document. Again, that was File and 8.5 by 11. From here, I'm going to set up my template. And so right now, I currently have one page. I'm going to switch over to the page design. And the first thing we'll do is deal with the size. So I'm going to left click on size, scroll down from 8.5 by 11 to tabloid portrait, which is 11 by 17. Select it. So now my page is the right size. I want to check my margins. You want it at a 1/2 inch margin all the way around. So I'm going to switch to moderate. And that gives me a 1/2 inch margin all the way around on this tabloid looking thing. And then the last thing I want to do is put some guides in. This will help you. So he wanted 4 columns, which would be this one, and it'll have the actual spacing that he wants in between. So I'm going to select this one. So those are my guides, and it's on this page. If I want to add an additional page, I would switch from here, and I would go to Insert, and I can go Page. And so now I have a page. I have a second page. So there's my first page and my second page. Notice there are no guides on this page. You can also, again, just to repeat, to put guides on, go back to page design, guides, and we're going to choose this right here for 4. All right. Now let's say I don't want a heading on that page. And so you could go with 4 columns, or you could customize your guides, excuse me. All right, so the next thing is I want to come back here. And what I want to do is set this up. So let me show you what we're building. So I'm going to go here to this one. And so this top area here, for my header, I created a table. So this is 3 rows and 1 column. And then down here, I just put text boxes that I inserted with picture placeholders, and I chose the caption feature. This is Latin filler text, and this is a drop cap. And these are just sample images that I put in so you get an idea of what it looks like. I also added a line, or the fancy word for it is a rule that goes all the way across. That's under shapes. So here's how we make this to get started. So let me go back to my document that I was working on. All right, and so what I want to do is actually insert a table. So to do that, you would come over here where it says Insert, and you would choose Table. Now I did, again, I said it was 1 column, 3 rows. So that's what this is over here to my right. That's what this is. All right. So when you do this, so insert table 1 by 3, it's going to show up down here. 4 arrows means you can move. So let's move that all the way up. And then 2 arrows is a resize. So now I have my table. All right. And so now I can play around with stuff that I want to stay inside the blue margin. So I got to move this down. So I'm inside that margin. And let's move this up. So now there's my table. All right, and then you could go ahead and play with what you want to say inside of it. So for example, I took the newspaper name here, and I'm going to put that in on this one. So I'm just going to paste it in. Control V is a copy and paste, still works. If you do Control A, it selects everything inside of it. Control E allows me to center text. And Control R puts it to the right. There you go. So now I have that. To resize this text, let's say I select it again, Control A for select all. I'm going to go back to the Home tab. And basically, these are your formatting things right here. And so this is how you make your text larger or smaller, right here and here. You've got your basic styles, bold, italics, and underline are the main ones. This right here deals with spacing in between letters. So if you want to adjust your text so it goes all the way across, you have this here to deal with that. All right. So the next thing is, let's say I want the header. I'm going to do caps lock. And I'm going to do Control A. Now, let's say this is terribly small and you can't see it. Down here in the bottom right, you have a slider so you can zoom in and out. And that allows you to zoom in. There's my word header. I've selected it using Control A. Now I'm going to do Control E to center my text. I also have these up here. So these are my alignments: left, center, right, justified. All right. And then now that I have it selected, I want to make it a whole lot larger. So I'm going to come down here and I could choose these things like so, or I could actually type in a number here. All right. Now, if you're finding your header is a little too big, then you can always make it smaller. All right, and I'm going to decrease that. All right. Also, if you want more space for these rules here, these lines, if you click on them, you can move them up and down and do whatever you want with them. All right. You can even delete them if you didn't want them in there. All right. So the last thing I want to do is I have my header. All right. I want to put a descriptive subtitle that goes all the way across the page. So I'm just going to copy this right here so you have it. So you get the idea. Come back here and I'm going to paste that in the last row that I have in my table. All right, and so I'm going to resize this a little bit just so everything fits. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to actually put some columns in this, and you'll notice I got 4 guides, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, to do that, I'm going to go back to Insert. All right, and I'm going to come up here to draw a text box. And for now, I'm just going to literally draw it all the way across like so. All right, and then you'll notice that when I did this, it put a little extra space on the left and right. That's going to be fine. So from here, what I want to do is I want to choose columns up top. And I want to choose not 3, but go to more columns. And I want to choose 4. Now, he also gave you a number, 18.875. That was the spacing. So 0.1875 is what I'm going to type in there. And I'm going to click OK. So now you'll notice that I have a cursor here. And if I put some text in here, so let me grab some Latin filler text real quick. So here's some Latin text. Just going to copy it, come back to my document, and I'm going to paste it in. You'll now notice that I actually do have columns. One thing about columns is that when you fill it up, so it's just like this, just going to fill it so that I have, you'll notice when I get to the end over here, I got these red bars and this dot. So that means that my text does not have enough room, and so I need to actually expand my columns. So what I'll do is I'll come down here and I'll expand my columns, and you'll now notice that there's that here. I can also go to my next page, and let's say I just insert a column here. So I go to Insert tab, just a review, and I want to insert a text box. So draw a text box. And there we go. And if I go back to this one, and I come to the end of this, and I tap these 3 little dots here, and I come to page 2, and guess what? Tap it in. It'll connect the 2 there. All right, so now I've got columns set up. The last couple things to deal with that for what I might want to do some special stuff. We got to have pictures. So let's just say I come in here and I resize this. All right, so it's resized. and I want to actually put pictures in, but I don't know what they are yet. So I'm going to go back to the Insert tab, and I'm just going to put a placeholder for pictures. So that's this button right here, and I'm going to literally take this and drag it over here, and I can play around with it like there. And let's say I want to put in another one, or actually I want to put a caption with that picture. So you have different styles. I'm going to do the one that just has it right below it. So there's my picture caption. Now to put this picture in, I literally click this button. It will take me from file. If I have something saved, I can stick it in there. So here's a picture, and I'll hit insert. And now that picture is inside of there. And then I can put my caption in here by left clicking on it and typing something in. So again, if I don't know what I want to do, or maybe I want a picture that goes across 2 columns. So again, I'll go back to insert, and I'll do placeholder, and I'm going to stick it here, and I'm going to drag it across here, like so. And so now you have a picture that would go across 2 columns. And just so you can see how it works, I'm going to choose corn maze photo here, and we'll stick that in right there. All right, so it goes across, and you should also notice that it fits it to the frame. You can adjust this if you need to. All right, so that is the basics. One last thing, if I want to do some lines or drop caps. So here's how you do a drop cap. You select the text, and then you're going to go over to Insert, and you're going to choose the text box right here. And from here, you'll see you have drop caps and number styles right here. And I can choose any kind of drop cap I want. And that's how you put a drop cap in your document, and it drops things down. To add a line, finishing touches on some of this stuff. If I go back to Insert and I choose Shape, and so here are my lines. And then if you hold the Shift key down, it helps you to draw a straight line, because I'm not really that good at drawing straight lines. And then you can move it. If you want the weight to be a little thicker, you got these effects up here, and here's your weight to make your line a lot thicker or thinner, or change the type of line. So you can see that, adjust it, and then you can also resize it at the end. That should be enough to get you guys started with your newspaper. I wish you well in what you create, and I'm always happy to help and assist if need be. I wish you the best.